First, we'll start with the grow the game pillar. You can shift to the next one. There we go. The grow the game pillar, we'll walk through and we'll go around the table and everyone will share the awesome work that everyone is doing in the landscape. Then Sharon will take us through foster the best playing environments, which will include safeguarding, refereeing initiatives, and key learnings from the ecosystem. For develop winning teams, Matt Crocker is here and we'll talk about a unified sporting strategy. Dave Wright will take us through all the amazing work his team has been doing to grow the soccer economy, to refuel investment. And then finally, we've also received some great feedback from all of you on the National Training Center so that we can create a world-class organization at our new home in Atlanta. And we'll share those exciting updates with you as well. So I will turn it over to John Mata for his Grow the Game.
Okay, thank you, Cindy, and good morning, everyone. I want to begin by letting everybody know that USASA, US Adult Soccer, had another great year in growth. We had a 3.1% growth in membership. And I want to thank the entire USASA membership for their hard work and continue to grow the game. The Adult Council this year, for those of you that remember during the governance process, that I had committed to grow the Adult Council and to add more members. And this year, for the first time, the Adult Council does have 3 members. We added USSSA and UPSL as the new members of the Adult Council, which is exciting because now we can all work together to grow the adult game in the United States. And I want to conclude by inviting everyone to the 100th anniversary of the US Adult Soccer's Amateur Cup. It's the second oldest soccer cup in the country, and we will be celebrating our anniversary in DeKalb, Chicago, in the end of July. So it should be a great celebration of amateur soccer, and we invite everyone that wants to come out to Chicago to celebrate the Amateur Cup with the adults. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. At AYSO, we are finally this year going to exceed where we were before COVID hit. So we're actually past COVID now officially, and actually we'll end the year with more players than the year before. More importantly, we have launched a new program this year called AYSO Play, which is intended to bring programming to communities that don't have it without having to create a whole club infrastructure. In the first year of this program, we expect we'll add probably somewhere between 10 and 12,000 new players that have never played the game before.
Yeah, good morning. Just congratulations to the 18 boys and girls who have been selected to our ID2 trips. In April, the girls are going to Barcelona, Madrid, and the boys will be in Lisbon. Thank you to Sherry and Anna and Emily for joining us at the ECNL Regional Symposium. Nearly 800 coaches, just an unbelievable event. And lastly, for the entire ecosystem, in parallel with the referee abuse working group, which Sherry will talk about later, we will be launching our discipline matrix in 2 weeks for all of our leagues across the country to try to standardize behaviors, adjudication, and expectations on both sidelines and within the game.
A couple of things. Through a state-led technology committee, we are working on a solution that will allow the USYS to standardize its player enrollment process, referee assignments, payment processes, tournament and data management, risk management, and the commercial applications using web and mobile app technology. We're also in discussions with a major streaming network to create the first youth streaming sports channel to provide unparalleled competition and programming. We've also launched a high-performance training center in conjunction with a number of NGBs and the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. This facility has ODP, National Best 11, and other competitive camps and competitions that will provide best training and sports science evaluation platforms for our elite players. It will be our home for sports development teams as well as coach and referee education.
Uh, Excuse me. Thank you. So at USL currently impacts more than 250 communities and is truly vital to the American soccer scene. Our ecosystem features more than 15,000 players competing with our distinct youth to pro pathways for men and women. At the professional level, the USL now has more than 40 men's and women's clubs that continue to invest in the game and in their communities. The biggest story for us in 2024 is the USL Super League, our new professional women's league launching this August. With teams across the country, the USL Super League will create more opportunities for players, coaches, referees, staff, and fans. Our owners are committed to operating at the highest standards, ensuring long-term stability and complementing the existing women's soccer landscape. Our two men's professional leagues, the USL Championship and USL League One, are continuing on the steady upward trend we've seen since the pandemic years. We had roughly 3 million fans attend matches in 2023, and our new media partnership with CBS will see USL broadcast on its biggest platform so far. USL has also prided itself on the impact we make in our communities. We recently launched USL Forward, an innovative initiative intended to help increase racial and gender diversity in leadership roles throughout the USL ecosystem. Within that, we are currently piloting a preseason residency program for high-performing, pro, aspiring, BIPOC, and women coaches. And Commissioner Berman.
Thanks, Garrison. Nice to be here with you all. I'd like to touch on 4 themes, areas we're excited about at the NWSL. The first relates to new teams and new ownership. We know that investment in this game is the key to the future, and we're welcoming 2 expansion teams in 2024, the Utah Royals and Bay FC. And we've also invited in 2 new ownership groups in Chicago and Portland that will help to build the future of this league. They paid an unprecedented investment to the league and $53 million valuation, which really helps to reset the value of our league. Second theme is around media and exposure and building the fan base and expanding the pipeline of fans. And we're excited to bring in 4 new media deals with a 40 times investment in women's soccer in the NWSL and increasing exposure in national broadcast from 6 games to over 100 games that will be available in homes all across the US. We'll have Friday nights on Amazon, Saturday doubleheader on Scripps Ion, and we'll be on ESPN, ABC, and CBS on Saturday afternoons and Sunday. The third theme is around infrastructure. More than half of our teams are investing in dedicated training facilities for these incredible athletes. And we are opening the first ever in the history of the world purpose-built stadium for women in Kansas City. Angie and Chris Long privately funded a $200 million investment into a stadium in downtown Kansas City that is opening with our regular season home opener on ABC in Kansas City against the Portland Thorns. And then finally, we're excited about focusing on investing in talent and the player pipeline. We've brought over in 2023 a chief sporting director in Tatiana Haney, who oversaw women's football at FIFA and UEFA and at the Swiss FA. And she is leading an integrated initiative to figure out how we make sure we continue to up-level the talent, both in our country domestically, as well as attracting international players to make sure that we continue to provide the best possible product. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just start by thanking everybody around the table and in the audience for all their support for all levels of the game, from the professional game all the way down to the youth. You know, it's hard to imagine that it was in 1994 that one of the requirements that U.S. Soccer had to host the World Cup in '94 was to launch a Division I men's professional league, and that was 30 years ago. You know, a league that was launched with 10 teams and had no vision yet for where we would play and how we would develop players. And here we are, so many years later. We'll soon launch our 30th team in San Diego. All but a handful of clubs play in purpose-built soccer-specific stadiums. There are currently 10,000 people that are employed by our teams. And when we think about the impact of where professional soccer is at all level, You think about the foundation and the infrastructure and the fact that we can be a soccer nation for players and for administrators and fans. That really is a big part of what we all hope can move the sport forward. It was a very busy year last year with the signing of a fairly well-known player and the launch of a new tournament called the Leagues Cup in our first year on Apple. We're the only league in the world, the global streaming package. So we'll have our second and really the first full year with Messi, and our second year with Apple. We'll have many of our players competing in the Olympics, and it's the first time that many of our young players will be part of the Olympic team. It's great that our men have qualified, but it speaks to the commitment to the pipeline. And I think you're hearing that theme throughout the professional game. All of us are committed to doing what we can to ensure that any kid who grows up can aspire and dream to be a professional player and earn a living playing in our country with great fans and with great development support. This will be a very busy summer with Copa America, and we'll have to figure out how we manage our seasons around that, but that leads right up to the Club World Cup next year, and obviously the World Cup in 26. This has become the virtual most important place for the global game, is sitting right here in our country. And that's decades and decades of work that all of us have done to have the rest of the world know and believe that this is a powerful and vibrant soccer nation. So it's just the beginning of what will be a very, very busy couple of years for all of us. Thank you. Who am I extending to?
Yeah, to me.
See you. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. These highlights are incredible, and I always look forward to hearing them. I get little updates throughout the, oh, sorry, John
Go to John.
Collins.
Sorry,
The
John.
best for last, John Collins. Sorry.
Somehow the at-large group gets forgotten. Thank you. And on behalf of the at-large group, which really brings the grow the game and all its different disciplines to the table, where we have everything from youth soccer organizations to the military to professional leagues to the DSOs. Just want to highlight the growth in the DSOs for everyone. We recently added Down syndrome soccer, and we have 2 pending now looking to join Dwarf Soccer and Special Olympics. So we continue to grow. Also, as a group, they formed a United Adaptive Soccer Association, which was a number of the different DSOs coming together to apply for an Innovate to Grow fund, which was very helpful. And they've had multidisciplinary camps where people would come to help identify new players and how to go. And for them, and the trick is getting word out about them. So that's been very helpful, and it's helping grow. And in that vein, this weekend, they will be having displays both inside and out. Inside, you can see Power Soccer tomorrow at 12:30. And outside, others will be there where you can meet some of the national team players and others. And so it continues to grow and be vibrant, and we're bringing even more and more disciplines into the game. So thank you.
John, I had allotted you more time than that. That's
Right.
unlike you to not to take up your time.
Brevity's the soul of wit.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We're looking forward to the upcoming year and all the great things that you guys are doing in the landscape. So with that, I will shift it over to Sherry.
Thank you, Cindy. Good morning, everyone. Nice to be here and good to see everybody. If we shift over to fostering best environments for play, as Cindy mentioned, I'll be talking a little today about our ecosystem review, our safeguarding updates, as well as an update on all things referees. To kick things off on the ecosystem review, I think since rolling out the strategic vision in September, there has been incredible energy and engagement behind making soccer in all of its forms the preeminent sport in America, and really continuing to develop soccer at all levels. And the ecosystem feedback directly shaped our strategic pillars at the Federation. And this is really the feedback that we want to move forward with and continue to ask for throughout this process. We know the soccer ecosystem is large, it is complex, and our goal is to be able to make sure that we are empowering and we are enabling you all to make soccer number one, and also to really capitalize on this unique moment that we have ahead of us. So we are going to take a wide range approach. We are in phase 1 where we are collecting feedback, and we encourage everyone to participate. That'll last kind of the first few months where we want to hear from you so that we can really start to understand what does this current state look like? What are the biggest challenges, the biggest opportunities, so that as we move forward in co-authoring strategies, we're actually able to truly transform in the game that we want to. We go to the next slide. So how are we actually going to go about this feedback? 3 different ways in which we're already starting to push forward. We're going to be standing up some working groups that are going to be made up of key external organizational reps that are really responsible for helping to drive forward the thinking, to drive forward the collaboration, to really start to co-author these strategies. We're also going to be engaging with membership, and this is an open invitation for everyone to reach out to myself, to Anna, to Emily, where we can show up at feedback forums, at town halls, to make sure that we are hearing from you, that you are challenging the thinking, that you are identifying all the key watch-outs, the risks along this process. And we also have live, as of now, on the US Soccer website, public updates. It's going to be a very transparent process. We're going to continue to share our learning, share our updates over the course of this process, and also enable everyone to be able to provide feedback at any point in time. So in the means of transparency, we've already kicked off conversations both with broader audiences as well as some one-on-ones, more to come, but some of the key themes that have already emerged. Collaboration is one of the biggest feedback pieces that we really need to make sure that we're getting feedback from both the technical and the operational leaders. Both have critical inputs to make sure that as we are solving challenges, we're taking all into consideration. Connection. There are many organizations that are working on similar initiatives, things like content, things like partnerships, and we want to help connect the dots. We want to help build stronger collaboration models, not only between the Federation and members, but members in general. And throughout this process, we know that we need to take into consideration everyone at all levels of soccer. Our approach is going to reflect this model, and I personally am really excited to move forward with all of you. Shifting over to safeguarding status update. I first want to just highlight the amazing work that the teams have done both at the Federation and across the ecosystem over the past 12, 16 months to really push forward all the efforts around safeguarding and making soccer the safest sport in America. Some of the key progress updates to highlight. First and foremost, we have either implemented or are on track to implement all 12 of the Yates recommendations. Everything from updates to the Pro League standards, to standing up safeguarding offices, to collaborating closely with NWSL. And I'll talk a little more about where we're at with the Safe Soccer Clearance Program, which is on track, and we're getting incredible feedback to date. So thank you all, and it's amazing to see what has been accomplished over the past year or so. Secondly, we have continued to create, and we have created and will continue to create member resources. I think Mike alluded to some of the uses on the member side of how they are leveraging the policies, the codes of conduct, the misconduct matrices. We will continue to invest in member resources to make sure that we are providing tools and things that you can apply more broadly within your member organizations. And finally, just a massive effort that has been done on the lobbying side of the reform that we feel is critical when it comes to the Center for Safe Sport, that we think is required in order to really push forward safety in our sport. We will continue to invest there and push this forward and prioritize that as a key input. What you can expect moving forward, shortly here in March, you'll see an informal resolution toolkit that will be made available. We will finalize, socialize, and make sure that you are able to leverage that immediately. And then we'll get into the Safe Soccer Clearance Program, but we are on track for our beta launch come April. What you're going to see on the next slide is an overview of all of the Yates recommendations, status updates. I'm not going to run through all 12, but what I do want to highlight is, as I mentioned, all of them have either been implemented or on track for implementation. You can go to our participant safety hub at any point in time where you have all of the resources, all of the updates available. So please leverage that. Please reach out if you have questions, if you have needs. We're here to kind of help push this forward. All right, On the Safe Soccer Clearance Program, I personally want to thank everyone that has raised their hand to be a part of this pilot, and there is still more opportunity for others to get involved. But to date, we have already had over 300 participants that represent a variety of clubs, organizations, roles that are being covered, and have gotten tremendous feedback in the form of focus groups, of surveys, of people reaching out for one-on-one conversations. I won't go through all of the strengths and improvement opportunities, but what I will say is, as we're really focused on the quality of the content, the impact and the value that we are able to provide, we are actively listening. We want to continue to listen to you all moving forward. And we know that there are going to be kind of evolutions of how we need to tailor, how do we need to kind of address different needs across the ecosystem. We're here to listen. We're here to continue to evolve this moving forward. Come April, I'm really excited for the beta launch. And so please reach out to myself, to anyone on the team if you would like to be a part of this. And finally, as kind of one of the key pieces of the themes around safety for all participants, we have additionally initiated our referee abuse working group as of January 25th. I first want to thank all of the working group members, a lot of which are here today, for being a part of this effort. It's not just going to be about that group. It's going to be about everyone being able to mobilize and support this effort if we are actually going to keep referees safe and protected at the end of the day. Our objectives, 3 that we've talked about before, but I think worth kind of touching on, is truly about enacting behavioral change through policy, through education, through a national awareness campaign of what it means to respect referees and what is and is not acceptable. And this is not something that is solely going to be targeted towards referees, because everyone has to be a part of this if we're actually going to change this. Coaches, parents, players, you name it. So I think at this point in time, do I throw it over to you, Greg?
Or Cindy.
Or Cindy?
Oh, this is Matt, developing winning teams.
We have a formal vote.
We gotta approve the working group. Sorry. No, I can do it, or you can.
So moved.
Go for it, Greg.
All right. So thank you, Sherry. So we just need a vote motion to approve the working group members on the referee abuse working group.
Yeah.
Move. Second?
Yeah, can I make a quick comment?
Yep.
Could we change the name a little?
Referee abuse prevention working group?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yes.
All right. We'll call it the referee abuse prevention working group. All right, for in the future. So any objections with that name change? Any objections? All right, hearing none, that motion is approved. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Just wanted to give everyone a quick update with our national teams. Obviously, it's a really exciting time for all of our 27 national teams and a really busy February period, as you can see on the slide. So, first and foremost, our women's under 17 team are currently in the CONCACAF Championships, where they are in the semi-final. And victory today at 12 p.m. We'll all have our fingers crossed against Haiti. Will mean qualification to the World Cup and 17 World Cup later this year, which for us and the player development opportunities that gives those young women will be tremendous. So we're really excited for them, and I'll be disappearing at 12 o'clock to watch that game somewhere quiet. Obviously, we've also got the CONCACAF Gold Cup, which is coming up later this month. And obviously, again, you'll see from the selection, we've picked a really young, dynamic, front-footed team, and we're really excited to see that transition as we prepare for the Olympics in the summer. We've also got in February the CONCACAF Futsal Championships and also our Men's Beach World Cup, which will be in Dubai. The team arrived yesterday and are in their final preparations for that tournament, and we wish both of those sides real success in those tournaments. And then obviously moving on to March, again, Nations League for the men's team that sees them pitted against Jamaica in the semi-finals. And again, gives us huge preparation in the steps that we're taking, building towards the World Cup strategy in 2026. And then finally, She Believes in April, where we'll have an opener against Japan. And again, our ambition is to continue to blood some of the young players that are making a big impact on the game, both in the US and obviously in Europe. So we're really excited for the weeks and months ahead leading into the summer. And then obviously, if we do then look ahead to the summer, obviously in May, we're really excited to
to welcome Emma. Emma Hayes will be starting with us with our women's senior team. When Emma starts, she keeps telling me it'll be on the 28th of May when she's won the Champions League, but I guess we'll wait and see for that one, but we're really excited. Obviously Emma is already working really closely with Twyla on that integration, and things like the selection of the team, the way the team are playing now is obviously partly to do with the collaboration that's taking place and that transition between Twyla and Emma. And then obviously the summer, really excited to have Copa America, where we play Bolivia, Panama, and Uruguay. Again, 3 key games in particular. The really exciting one for me is looking at that Uruguay game, which will give us a great opportunity to see where we actually are in preparation for 2026. And then finally, the Olympics. So, both our men's and women's team participating in the Olympics later this year in France. And, the draw that we're really excited to take place later this March. So, a really exciting couple of months coming up, and a really great opportunity for player development, but also to see where we are with regards to other nations. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Well, as you all know, we alongside Mexico have put forth a 2027 Women's World Cup bid to host the best and the most economically successful women's sporting event of all time. And in doing this, we'll advance women's soccer both here at home and across the world. We've been very actively engaged with other federations and confederations. JT and my counterparts from around the world are very excited about our bid's ability to increase investment in the girls and women's game, not just here, but in all 211 of FIFA's MAs. So more to come on this, but we're very excited about it. We're working hard on it, and the vote is at the FIFA Congress in May. Over to you, Dave.
Thanks, Cindy. First, I want to recognize the commercial committee. We had a meeting yesterday and a very robust discussion on a lot of key topics. And I highlight that because it's a group that brings a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm for the commercial side. They bring a lot of diverse perspective, which I think is important, and have pushed us. So thank you for playing the role that you guys play. It's hard to believe that we're in the second week of February, and that the fiscal 24 calendar is almost coming to a close. It's been a big year for the organization. I think it's been a really big year for the commercial team. In fact, commercial revenue is up over 50% year over year. So that's a great start. It's a great foundation, in part led by a record-setting partnership development year with 5 new partners. In fact, we'll be announcing a new, very large strategic partnership over the next couple of weeks, but also our ability to retain our existing partners, 100% retention against strategic partnerships. So a great foundation from which to build. In addition, FY24 was an opportunity to welcome new media partners. And as you heard through a lot of the opening comments, the investment around soccer content continues to increase, which is an incredible story for our game. And we are no different, welcoming Warner Brothers Discovery on English language, Telemundo on Spanish language. And the early signs a year in are really positive. In fact, viewership for both our men's and women's senior national teams is up. And we see those partners critically important in our efforts to build stars and overall relevancy for our sport. You know, for those that are connected to the media landscape, you probably saw an announcement a couple of days ago with Warner Brothers Discovery, ESPN, and Fox joining forces to create a new venture. And what does that mean for us? And I think while details are still being ironed out, I would tell you, and having conversations with Warner Brothers Discovery senior leadership, it's a really good thing for us. You'll continue to see all of our matches on linear. You'll continue to see all of our matches on the respective English and Spanish language streaming services, but now there'll be a third point of entry. And so with this new venture, having US soccer content alongside college football, the NFL, the NBA is a very, very big development. And I think going to lead to increased eyeballs and opportunities to cross promote. Obviously more details to follow, but I did want to touch on that based on the real-time nature of that development. We know that as we think ahead, Our strategic partners are going to be a critical component to our continued growth. We've had massive increases year over year, but for us to continue to do that, we've got to lean in. And so you'll see us continue to dedicate significant resources in this space so that we can drive not only increased revenue, but equally as important, more strategic value, because these partners are going to be critical to developing stars and increasing relevancy. Along those same lines, we're also placing a lot of emphasis on platform development. So opportunities to bring brands along, to invest in areas that not only drive fan engagement, membership opportunity, but also increase revenue. So things like the All-State Continental Classico or AT&T Cultural Connections. We will lean into these in a bigger way, but also spend a lot of time thinking about additional platforms. It's critically important that we have more to offer in the marketplace if we're going to continue to drive exponential growth from a revenue standpoint. And then lastly, there's been a lot of attention, and rightfully so, on the city of Atlanta. For those that were at the National Training Center announcement, our commercial summit, those were two breakthrough events. And on the heels of those events, you'll start to see new hires that will be based in Atlanta, staff transitions, new office space, sport programming, and increased national team events in that market. It's critically important that we have a physical presence and a consistent cadence in our new home, and you'll start to see that take off more and more. We're very excited in partnership with our great partners, AMBSC, to host She Believes, and Matt referenced our match against Japan on April 6th. We know that's going to be an incredible showcase for the sport, for the federation, and also for the city of Atlanta, and also be the first of many high-profile national team events in that market. So we are really excited with the progress that's been made over the last year. We know we're just getting started, and excited for the future as we look ahead. Cindy, back to you, or JT, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dave. So speaking of Atlanta, want to highlight some of the great feedback we've received from so many of you around our new home and National Training Center. When we announced this project, we were very clear that this isn't just the home for our 27 national teams. This is home for all of you and all of soccer in America. And through that, we've gotten all sorts of great feedback and learnings with regards to what this facility should be. And so as you can see on the screen, there are some key themes around being a home for everyone in all respects, whether you're a referee, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whether you're a fan, whether you're an administrator, ensuring that this facility is something that's yours and where you're able to bring your love for soccer to life. We also know that there's some very specific needs that different constituents have for the facility. And through this process, some of you have shared those. And actually, since we've gone around and met with some of you yesterday, even in the last 24 hours, we've gotten more feedback from specific use cases and specific needs around how we ensure that our National Training Center, our home, is the most accessible facility in the world, purpose-built to ensure that everyone can play soccer and participate in the sport we love. So anyone in this room, anyone on Zoom, please continue to give us feedback, not just about the facility itself, but how we bring it to life. How do we program it to make sure that this is a home that we all can enjoy and help us achieve the great things that we have ahead of us. So exciting time, a lot of progress, a lot of momentum, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Great. As you see on the screen, the next board meeting will be virtual on May 10th. And so that brings us to the end of the open session. But before we adjourn, I would like to recognize and thank four board members that after the National Council meeting will be leaving the board. Richard, Lisa, Bill, and Garrison. I just want to thank you all for your service, your time, your energy, your passion. I know it hasn't always been fun, but I really appreciate all of you really rolling your sleeves up and helping us accomplish what we've accomplished, not just this past year, but for the entire term of your service. And Richard, I know you go back 30 years, you've come on the board and gone off the board. So I'm not convinced that you're not coming back. So to all of you, this isn't a goodbye. This is see you later, because I know all of you will stay engaged in the sport. So with that, I'll pass it over to Richard.
Thanks, Cindy. Yes, I started this service in 1990. I've served 5 different organizations. I'm incredibly honored to be on this board. You're outstanding, you're dedicated, and you're passionate. A special thank you to Melanie, Michael, and Anna. You made my years on this board productive. You were thoughtful and caring. And to everyone on this board, your service is so appreciated. Thank you very much for letting me serve with you.
Garrison.
I also just wanted to briefly thank all of the other board members. I've only been here 2 years, but it's been a pleasure getting to know all of you, and it's been obviously a very transformative couple of years for US Soccer, and it's been a privilege to be a part of these couple of years. So thank you very much.
Bill.
Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, I feel similarly to Richard. The position, I think Cindy would agree, is much greater than the person sitting in the seat, and truly been honored to have served in this capacity our country, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have had to serve the game that I love so much. Where we came from to where we are now over the course of my time being with the board has been truly transformative, and so much credit to both JT and Cindy for the work you guys have put into to change the mentality, I think, of where I think US Soccer has come from and to where we are now. And I can feel comfortable leaving the board, moving on to where my passions lie in the youth landscape, which is with a lot of hope and excitement, because I think that the collaboration that is starting is fantastic. So I really appreciate all that. And I want to thank everyone for the trust that you've given me to put me in this position, and look forward to continuing to push forward and to grow the game. Thank you.
Lisa.
Thanks, Cindy. It has been a true honor for me to be on this board for the last 6+ years. As I think about the pillars, it's great to be able to say that soccer in the US has never been better positioned, and I'm certainly excited to see where it goes over the next many years. I want to thank my fellow board members. I want to thank the remarkable staff of US Soccer, and I want to thank everyone that plays and supports the beautiful game in the US. And finally, I certainly will find other ways to stay involved, but thank you to all of you.
Great. This concludes our open session. We will adjourn and brief break, and then we'll come back for executive. Thanks, everyone.